Hello lads and ladies, and welcome to my short and simple WoW Classic TBC Phase 3 Preparation Guide. So we'll get started with the most obvious thing, first of all, mechanics. So you can watch this whole guide, but I really advise you to take heed of these first two things I'm going to say. So what you need to do is read up on the mechanics. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You could either read up on Wowhead, or you can go on YouTube and watch a guide. There's a million guides out there, really good ones on there as well. And personally, what I do is before I even start prepping for the raid, I'll look up a guide and I'll get up a notepad on my PC, and I will literally list all the bosses and trash mobs in between, and I'll just jot down some notes, just as something I can look at on my second monitor throughout the raid, just to keep it, because it's a lot of information and it's hard to keep track of all these things when you're raiding. So I like to do that. Have a notepad done and dusted before you start the raid, have it on your second monitor, and when you're coming up to a boss, have a glance, have a quick read through, and then you know what the score is. And I've actually done most of the raids in Classic this way. I've written them all down in that notepad, like I said, and I'll put them in the list in the description below. Feel free to have a peruse. They're probably a bit confusing to someone who hasn't written them, but more than welcome to have a look. If it helps, it helps. And the next thing, adding on to the mechanics, is the mini game on Terran Gorefiend. It's you need to learn it because it's it'll target a random player within the raid, and if you don't know what you're doing, it will wipe the raid. So there's a little link down below that you can go and practice and get it done before the raid, just so you know what you're doing, just so you don't grief the rest of your raid, and it's good to know. Okay, so the next bit of prep that you really do need to do is get attuned. I'm sure most of you guys are now, as we've had a month and a half or so to get there in the first place. But if you're not, don't stress, you can definitely get it done before Phase 3 drops, and you don't want to be the guy that turns up on raid night saying, yeah, brilliant, and then you can't go through the portal because you haven't been attuned. So get it done, boys. So in all honesty, the attunements to Mount Hyjal and Black Temple really aren't that bad. If you've done SSC, TK, trust me, you can do them. They're probably half the time invested, I would say. And yeah, they're really not too bad. So the Mount Hyjal attune is really easy. You literally, as long as you're attuned to the heroics, which is getting revered, getting the key, sure you already are, you can go into Caverns of Time, go down to Sodormi, the little girl, I think, and speak to her, and she will give you a quest to get 2 vials, one off Vash and one off KT after you've killed them, of course. Loot them in your normal SSC, TK clears, and go back to her. You'll get a really nice ring, actually. It's good, especially for alts as well, if you're doing it on an alt, which you should be. Later on in the video, I'll say. And there you go, that's your Mount Hyjal. So the BT one, the Black Temple one, is slightly longer, I will say, than the Mount Hyjal one. But obviously you've got to do it, got to get done, and I'll have the list of quests up here somewhere, and I won't go through it all in depth now, otherwise I'll be here all day, but I will give a quick TLDR. So the Black Temple TLDR attune is basically, you'll go to Shadowmoon Valley, do a few quests there, then you go and meet Karma, do a few more quests for him, which I think are group quests. Then you go to Alcatraz, and you can do it on normal, so no stress about getting a heroic group. Then you'll do a few more quests, then you'll go to SSC, and you'll speak to someone in there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And then after that, you go back to Akama, you'll get a disguise from him to go and kill Alar. So basically with that, you can literally, as you're killing Alar, you can put the disguise on. You don't have to have it on the whole time, etc. It's no stress. Just put it on during the fight or before the fight, kill him, and that bit's done. After that, you should be on a quest called an Artifact in the Past, and that is as far as you can go at this point. So basically, Artifact from the Past, requires you to go into Mount Hyjal and kill Rage Winterchill, which obviously you can't do yet, which will happen when you go into Mount Hyjal. So like I said, don't stress if you haven't got it done already. It can be done. You've still got a month. It's easily done. And like I said earlier, really you want to do these quests on every character that you're planning to raid on. One, because of the ring from Mount Hyjal. Obviously it's not that deep if you've got good rings already. Still worth to have just in case. Basically you're doing it for the Medallion of Carabol, which is from the Temple Attune, which basically has I think 40 shadow resistance on it, which is super nice, and it's very important to have shadow resistance for Mother Shiraz in Black Temple. So just adding on to what I was saying earlier, shadow resistance. We're going to need some for Black Temple, and the reason why is because of this chick here, Mother Shiraz. Okay, so during the fight, Mother Shiraz will cast Fatal Attraction on 3 players that are non-tanks, and basically that's going to hit you with ticking shadow damage until you've ran 25 yards away from each other. Okay, so in a perfect world you want 240 shadow resistance with buffs to partially resist that shadow ticking damage. Okay, and you can do this by getting BOEs or getting tier 1, or sorry, tier 4, and your old tier gear, if I'm getting confused, your old tier gear, and just enchant it with shadow res, shadow res gems, the void crystal, etc. You can get to it through that, and a priest will buff 80 shadow res, I believe, and your neck will give you 40 shadow res. So in a perfect world, you'll want 240 shadow resistance. And the reason is because 240 shadow resistance will grant you partial resists on that ticking shadow damage. So basically with your neck that you had on from the Black Temple attunement quest, that'll give you 40, and a priest can buff 80, I think. So you add that together and basically need about 130-ish shadow resistance through your own gear to get to 240. And you can do this through getting your tier 4 gear, your last tier, getting a few spare pieces if you've still got them in the bank maybe, or you're not using them, etc. And putting the void crystals on them, some shadow resistance enchants, stuff like that. A couple of BOEs from the auction house, stuff like that. But what I would recommend is, if you haven't got your engineering up, which I'm sure a lot of you have, we all know it's the best raiding profession. If you haven't got it up, get it up and get the Nigh Invulnerability belt and the rocket boots. Okay, so you can pair these both together, and if you get cast Fatal Attraction on you, you can pop the belt, pop the boots, and that will cause you to sprint away, and you can get away from each other a lot quicker, taking a lot less damage, and you can pretty much wear your normal gear, maybe use the neck and a couple of shadow res pieces, but I would recommend this, as I think it's going to be the best way. And for the tanks as well, we are going to need fire resistance sets. Okay, so I'm sure you've already got some from Leo in SSC, and the amount really is probably going to depend on your raid. But what I would personally recommend is, go high at the start, suss it out, see how it goes, feel it out, and then start taking off these fire res pieces, put them back on your normal gear, and start dropping the resistance amount down, just to see what you can get away with or not, and yeah, go from there. And if you need to buy some more fire res gear, what you can do, I mean, you can get bits off the auction house, no stress, for gold, or you can farm up some badges and get them from Grass, and for badges, it's about 100 badges for the whole set. So I'd recommend farming it all up and just testing the waters in week 1, week 2. So on to consumes. So in phase 3, we are going to be able to buy these Shatraf flasks, and they can be bought with this new currency and Mark of the Illidari, and they are going to be dropped from the trash in both Mount Hyjal and Black Temple. And this is going to save you a ton of gold, rather than spending, I don't even know what it is, 200-300 gold maybe for 2 flasks across SSC TK now. You're going to be spending a lot less. However, to access these flasks, you're going to need to be exalted with the Cenarian expedition, the Shatar, and your Aldor or Scryer, depending on which one you've chosen. and the vendor itself is going to be located inside the bank of your Aldor or Scryer. And also, they don't send over to different characters, so you will need to be exalted on Scenario Expedition, Shatar, Aldor, Scryer, on every character that you want to be able to use these flasks on, and obviously have them off. And another great consumable you can get is the Elixir of Demon Slayer. Now this is super strong elixir. It only lasts 5 minutes, which I know isn't great, but you're going to be popping these. If you're really pushing for good passes, good times, you're really going to be popping these next phase on every demon pack, every demon boss especially. And obviously it's quite a well-known secret now, as the game's been out 20 years, so the prices of these are going to skyrocket, probably already now. So it might be worth farming the mats and getting an alchemist to craft them for you in your guild or something like that. So moving on to a couple of the min-maxy bits you can do if you want. So basically the first I would say is Sulfurian Slammer. Okay, you can get this from the bar in Blackrock Depths, BRD. And basically what this is going to do is put like a small ticking fire buff on you. Okay, it's not going to hit you hard or anything like that. It's kind of like the Skull of Impending Doom. So this is going to be really good for Anertheron, I think that's how you say it, in Black Temple. And think of Karazhan Maiden of Virtue, you know, when they put you into Repentance, and if this is ticking, it will take you out of the Repentance. Something like that, really good to have, just in case. And Thornlin Seeds as well are going to be really good. So you can get these from Dimalt East, and you know, it's worth farming a bunch because on fights like Mother and the Illidari Council, you can pop these, and basically what it's going to do is they're going to be able to be targeted for certain abilities. So that's going to take damage away from the raid. Rather than targeting a player, it has a chance to target the Thornlin Seed rather than the player. So as a whole, it's going to bring that raid damage down. So another really good thing just to have with you, just in case. And lastly, have a look at your BIS. Go on Wellhead, check what items you're going to be looking for next phase. You know, have an idea of what you want to be looking for first to keep your hit and stuff like that in check, and you know what enchanting mats you're going to be using when you get these bits. So it's all well and good to just have a look, just to have a vision of what you're going towards for next phase. And last but not least, go into these raids and have some fun, boys. Like, it's a 20-year-old game, we all know the score. Go and have some fun with the boys and girls in your guild, you know. Don't stress too much if you're not clearing it in week 1 and setting super speed times. Don't stress, go in there, have some fun. And if you can't beat it week 1, keep chipping away on that rock. Keep getting better. The more gear you're going to get, the more experience you're going to get. You're going to clear it at some point, and yeah, have some fun. Anyway, so with that, that is my phase 3 preparation guide. I hope you learned something, even if it was small. And if you like the video, give me a like or a comment or subscribe. It really would help me out. Carry on bringing out more videos for you guys. So with that, guys, I will see you in the next one, and I will see you in phase 3. Cheers.